Under this Democrat-controlled government, Americans, I feel like, have been lied to. They've been misled and left entirely in the dark on the legislation that made their lives worse. We need to earn back their trust, and it starts with real transparency and accountability on our part. My rule proposals are based on a simple concept. America should always have access, easy access, to information about what's happening in Congress. My first proposed rule requires us to use bills that titles to describe what our bills do. In the Tennessee State Legislature, which was under Democrat control when these rules were enacted and they stayed in when the Republicans took over, the state legislature already had this rule in place. And if a bill is called the Dog Catcher Act, then dadgummit, the bill needs to be about dog catchers, not about pay raises, not about anything else. And we've made a habit out of passing multi-trillion-dollar spending bills, and I feel like they've been packed with woke wish lists. No one had any idea what was in them until after they were passed. And take the so-called Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. It cost taxpayers $1.2 trillion, but only about 11% from our figuring of the spending went to roads and bridges. We don't need to sneak secret pay raises or woke climate equity programs into bills behind our constituents' back. That's some Democrat nonsense, and it has no place here in Congress, Mr. Chairman. I have another proposed rule, and if the Republicans do it, I'll be back up here next year saying it's Republican nonsense. I have another proposed rule which would require the clerk of the House to read the bill's Congressional Budget Office score immediately after the title. In Tennessee, we call that a fiscal note. In Tennessee, we have the best-run state in the nation. We have zero debt, Mr. Chairman. Taxpayers should hear how much a bill will cost before it's passed in Congress. It's their money, and they should know what's in it. I'm also proposing rules that would prevent the House from passing bills using methods that are easier to hide behind. No more en blanc votes. And I don't know how you even pronounce it, en blanc, but en blanc, I'm not sure exactly the pronunciation, en blanc. No more passing separate legislation in a procedural vote. No more amendments in nature of a substitute that substantially change the bill's original purpose. I'm also proposing a rule to prevent us from bringing a bill straight from introduction to the floor without going through the committee. Bills should not be written by a few leaders behind closed doors. They should be discussed and amended before being brought to a vote. If Americans can easily find out what bills we're passing and how much they're costing them and who's voting for them, then dadgummit, they're going to pay a lot more attention, Mr. Chairman, and I think that's a good thing. More Americans are in tune with what's going on here in the People's House, then we're doing something right.